Anthony Hartwig with another girls basketball coaches corner and season preview. We are joined in Liberty by the new head coach of the Leopards this year, Elaine Jacobs. Coach, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about your program.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about everything Liberty has to offer. And, we certainly appreciate YSN and everything they do to promote the high school sports in the region. It's outstanding effort.
Before we talk about this season and all things that you have expectations for, let's talk about taking this job when it became available. What kind of drew you to it, and what were some things that were the factors in making you decide that you wanted to be the head coach over there at Liberty?
Yeah, well, I've been working with our youth program now for about 7 or 8 years. Some of those years it was just fifth and sixth grade. And then about 4 years ago, maybe, I was also doing 7 and 8. So I was pretty busy doing the fourth grade program and I really loved it. And then, we've had some transition here over the past couple of years at the high school level. And I really felt like at this time, our program would best be served by somebody who is passionate about liberty, in addition to helping to mold some young people. So I felt like this was a time that as an alma mater, is my alma mater, and my passion for Liberty basketball and young people, that this was a time that hopefully I can bring all those aspects that we have been developing in the youth program to the high school program and try to make it a more seamless transition as they get into high school, and provide these young ladies the best opportunities that they deserve.
As a first-year head coach, your first thing on the checklist was trying to just instill a culture and a philosophy into this team and this program. Talk about that. Talk about what kind of culture you want to set in line for Liberty, and what kind of things are kind of in your coach's philosophy bag that you're trying to bring to the program as well.
Well, many of these high school players I had in the youth program, so they're somewhat used to my style and the things that I emphasize. But from a philosophical standpoint, my attitude toward it hasn't changed. We definitely emphasize accountability, and they know that no matter what happens, right or wrong, I'm always going to have their back, but they will be held accountable both on and off the floor. And then in addition to that is truly the idea of selfishness that I really want to instill in them to care more about how successful their teammates are than themselves. And, a few of these kids I've been away for a few years, and I think that might be an adjustment for them. But so far in these first week and a half, first 2 weeks, I feel like so far they have bought into it, and I can see a lot of positives from some leaders on our floor who are being patient with our young ones and really being the coach on the floor for me. So I feel it's a good start. The games and the scrimmages ahead are going to provide their own challenges, and you'll truly find it, whether or not you're being successful when they start handling some adversity. But hopefully we're laying the foundation for them to be able to adapt to that.
Let's have a meet the team segment. Talk about your roster, some of the big names that we'll be seeing in Liberty this year, and some of the maybe some of the new faces as well that we didn't see last year.
Right. So we have 3 players coming back that have had, they probably had the most time on the floor last year as juniors, but honestly didn't see much of the floor. We didn't have a JV program their freshman and sophomore year, so their action in real games were limited. Are Armani Franklin and Amari Brown and Mia Benjamin. So I know they're excited to be leaders on the team this year. I'm working to make sure they understand that just having been around long enough doesn't, in and of itself become a leader, and we're working on those skill sets. So, but I am going to rely on them from the experiences that they do have, because I think it's a great foundation for us to build for the future on. We currently don't have any juniors on the program. And then there are 3 sophomores coming to us. I can envision Kumara Watson being in that starting role right now. And then the other 2 sophomores, Tamia Lyons and Tamaya Lyons and Mackenzie Rhodes, I see them working both with the JV and the varsity programs this year, having time in both of those. And then there are 2 freshmen that at this point, if they can maintain their confidence level, I can see Danelle Coleman being able to work herself onto the starting role for the varsity team, as well as we got a transfer that came in from another school district. Melina West, who is I'm pleasantly surprised with her skill and abilities. Again, they're still freshmen, but you can't teach athleticism, and they are both very aggressive type of players. So I'm excited to see what possibly those two freshmen can do on the varsity level.
You've already brought up leadership and how important it's going to be for your program. So, out of those names you just mentioned, who are some of the players that you already can tell in the time you've been able to be with them that you're going to be able to lean on a little bit to be leaders of the team on the floor?
Um, Probably of that set right there is our Amarne Franklin's probably our most vocal leader. We're definitely working on, and she's adapting to the idea of the style in which she wants to lead her teammates and learning a little more patience from where they're coming from. But Armani is definitely going to be somebody that hopefully she'll be able to lead her team in a positive manner. And then we've got some freshmen, and although right now I'm not sure where she'll fall, but I have a freshman, Zania Garcia, who's just an outstanding team player. Her effort on the floor, she's always given 100% all the time. Doesn't matter if I'm in the gym looking and watching them or not. She is just such an exemplary student athlete. So she's somebody that very well could work herself into a starting role. Right now, I think it's a confidence level a little bit for her. But she's one of those quiet leaders that, she leads by example, and I find great value in that. And I think the other kids attract to her type of leadership style as well. So I would say a freshman, both Zania Garcia and Danelle Coleman, having attributes that definitely can be developed, and we can rely on them as the season goes forward.
Let's transition to talking about your schedule. We'll start with the league you play in. Everyone knows that the MVAC is very tough in girls basketball, especially on the gray side. So, what kind of things do you see out of the league in your first year? What kind of things do you know about the teams in the conference, and how do you think Liberty can compete in the MVAC?
I'm going to plead. I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I know LeBray has they struggled in the past few years, and then last year really turned it on. I realized that Crestview, has gone the distance, but I'll be very honest with you. I don't know very many of their personnel, who their players are. Obviously, I'll learn those quickly, but I just feel like we're at a stage right now where, I hate to say it, but our culture is more important. I want to make sure that when we do things, we do it the right way, regardless of what the results may be at the end of a game. And we are definitely going to face some adversity. I'd like to think we have the potential to be more competitive than maybe people are thinking we will be, but time's going to tell whether or not, how this all evolves. But, those two teams are obviously very much at the top. But league or non-league, I have great respect for the schedule that we have and the teams that we're going to be facing. I do realize there's a few other coaches new to this myself. So, I just want us to approach the game and really do what we can do the best that we can do it, and then let the cards fall where they may.
As a new head coach, and like you said, you're not the only new head coach in the MVAC. What's it like trying to kind of, be a part of the coaching community a little bit, get your name out there, try to meet other coaches, try to meet other people in the area, so you can kind of get a scope of what the landscape of girls basketball in the area right now at the varsity level kind of looks like.
Yeah. I had reached out, and we've texted back and forth a few times with Mandy Rowe. I knew her husband as the AD, and he was helping coach their junior high programs when I was there. So I kind of relied on that a little bit, and just, she understands where our program is at, because they were there not too long ago, and has been very positive, and, just trying to have that stick to itiveness. I know Sean Zakor from years ago, down from Youngstown State, and in some relations we had back then. And I know he's a quality individual, and I know he'll do great things for that champion program. So as of right now, and I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anybody, I'll rely, get to know them as we see them, and continue to rely on those other individuals. But although I'm a first year head coach, although I did coach at Liberty like 30 some years ago, I'm comfortable in my own skin, to be honest with you. And I've been around athletics my whole life. I was an associate AD at Youngstown State, so I've been around sports and I've seen, just generally how these things have to work. So I'm comfortable in just how to manage a program that for
Mhm.
me sometimes is more important than knowing X's and O's. So I am never going to claim that I'm a great coach per se, as far as it comes to basketball skills and implementing defensive and offensive strategies. But I'd like to think that the players will benefit from being a part of my program as far as the young ladies that they will develop and the skill sets they'll learn that they'll be able to take with them beyond the basketball floor.
You might be the only coach in the YSN family that gets to say that they spent time as a associate AD at a Division I school in athletics program. What kind of experience and lessons did having that job and that role teach you? And what kind of things are you leaning on now as a head coach that you lean on from your experience at YSU?
Well, one thing most definitely is some things that I've observed with frustration, and there were times I observed it at YSU, but then there was the other side where it was really positive. Is understanding that this is a game, and I realize at the college level it's their job, so they've got a lot on the line, and I totally understand that. But sometimes I think they're so invested in what goes on the floor that they forget the bigger picture of some things. So I think from my observations and how I've developed, I mean, like I said, I coached at the high school level 30 some years ago, and I was that young, fiery coach that, it was the be all end all to be the basketball coach. So I've done that. I've made my mistakes doing that. I've learned from it. And I can say now in my late 50s that I'm so invested in these young people becoming better people. They are not going to, there's so much that they're not going to specifically remember about basketball per se. But I know when I even played basketball, we developed great friendships that I still have to this day. So I want them to have that family atmosphere at Youngstown State. The coaches who were probably most successful over the long term were the ones that were able to have their players feel like they cared about them and that they weren't just, pieces on a chessboard, and replaceable and that type of stuff. I think you have to really, really show your kids how much you love them. And if you do, when tough times come and you have to hold them accountable, they're okay with that because they know at the end of the day you care about them. And I, like I said, it's about caring about people. And if you care about people, you're going to have a successful program, regardless of what the end results might be. So I think the coaches that were successful at Youngstown State were the ones that had that kind of philosophy.
When you were named head coach and you were kind of given the keys to this program, what were some things that you were really excited about? What made you so excited that you were going to be able to take this program over and kind of mold it in the way that you want to see it?
Well, I love my youth program, and from my perspective, I think head coaches today need to value their youth programs, and you can see where all around our area they're struggling to get numbers for participants in some districts and such. So the first thing I wanted to do was, and I felt like I have done, is incorporate our fourth grade through 12th grade program. The open gyms were open to all grades this past summer. And we've had, family picnics together where it was incorporated all those grades. I'm over at those younger kids' practices and making sure they're being taken care of. So, and it's remarkable and enjoyable to watch when I see them interacting with different grades and some of the seventh graders talking with the juniors and stuff like that, and how that's creating a great bond amongst our family. So that was the one thing that I was adamant about, was I wanted it not only to be selfless, but I wanted this program to be something where it becomes a tradition, if you will. I think there's potential. I learned more about that now than I did my first time around, 30 some years ago, with age comes wisdom sometimes. So what I'm really excited about is how I see these kids interacting with each other from different grades. And I'm hoping that that will provide some loyalty to our program and be able to, simply be able to move on 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And that is how we're going to set this stage to make Liberty a program that can withstand year to year and not just have, a roller coaster type of ride year in and year out.
All right, Coach. We do not let these coaches' corners and season previews go without giving the coach a chance to highlight their coaching staff and the people that you've brought on board to help you build this program. And I want you to take the time to shout out the people that are working with you and the coaches that you'll have by your side in this journey.
Sure. So I had the opportunity to hire both an assistant varsity and a JV coach. And again, with my philosophy that the youth program is so important, I have Mindy Dykes with me, who's in her first year, who's also a Liberty alum. It was very important to me. I was trying to find people who are passionate about Liberty and not looking, just to get a job. They wanted to be able to make sure that they, I want them to be committed to our Leopard program. So Mindy Dykes has come on as the JV coach. And then we have a gentleman by the name of Matt Smith, who has a background at Hubbard and has done some AAU coaching that is taking over our 7th grade program. And his daughter, Ariana is taking on our 8th grade program. And she's a young person that really wants to get into coaching. So, I really believe, it would have helped me in the beginning of my career if I could have had more time at the 7th and 8th grade level to get started. But be that as it was, I think she's going to do a good job in getting her feet wet with our 8th grade program. So I took the varsity assistant position and I broke it up to be able to help with our youth program to make sure we have quality coaches down there. So I have a gentleman by the name of Dwight Parker, who's the father of one of our former players and a former player of mine, Janetta White, who is helping down at that program. So I view all of them as a team effort. We talk regularly. If there's anything they need, I'm there for them. So although I'm sure your question was attuned to my high school staff, in my mind, my 4th through high school program, varsity program, are key components of how successful Liberty is going to be, not only this year, but in the years to come. So excited about the fact that I was able to fill all of our spots, and all these young people in Liberty are going to have opportunities to get some instruction and playing time this coming season.
In the same track, Coach, before we let you go, is there anyone else out there, whether maybe they're not a part of the coaching staff, but they've been a phenomenal in getting you prepared and helping you build the program? So if there are any other names out there that you want to shout out that have been just very, very strong and very a key component to what you're doing at Liberty, do you think you have anyone else you want to shout out?
Sure. I'd like to, honestly compliment the administration from Todd Smith, who's our athletic director, and he and I have been working closely for a few years now in various roles, as well as Tom Zetz, who are high school principal, and then Brian Knight, who is our superintendent. They're very approachable. They're always willing to hear what's going on. They were the first ones to say, "What can we do for you?" They too are very, very anxious to get both our boys and girls programs on some more stability and moving in the right direction. So, I give my, excited that Steve Arnold is on board now, and I credit Todd Smith for being able to recruit Steve to our program at a very critical time. And I just really believe that the administration wants to help and promote this program, and it will provide me with all the tools that I need to be successful.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck this season. We'll be out there at games and supporting and covering the Liberty Leopards this year. We can't wait to see you out there. Wish you the best of luck again, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks so much. Go Leopards.